Right, let me share my thoughts while seated in my car. Vanakkam, namaskaram, namaste, salam, sabona, salutation. Today, let's talk about suicide. Um, so, I've had a family member commit suicide a couple of years back. Was an elderly gentleman, actually, probably in his 70s, committed suicide. And recently, there's news of a young man committed suicide, almost 21 years old, or 21 years old, just turned 21. And another incident of a man who tried to unalive himself in the restroom of a restaurant. So, anyways, when it comes to suicide, always when you talk to the family members, you'll say, you know what, generally they don't know what happened. They seem to be happy. There was no issues. Even in this incident of the young man, I think if I saw a press release, they said, well, nothing was wrong. He had no problems. But then if you have to critically analyze it, the reason the person committed suicide or took the extreme measure of committing suicide was because there was something wrong. There was something wrong. It's just that either the family is hiding it. I'm not saying it's in the case of the 21-year-old. I'm now talking generally. Either the family is not alluding, not telling us what went wrong because of stigma attached to what went wrong. Maybe there was an argument when someone commits suicide or some family squabble or something. So the family doesn't want to say it, then we're just hiding the truth. Or if they really didn't know and can't see a reason, then it's that they can't see the reason. But for the person to unalive themselves in that fashion, then that means there was something wrong. And we have to accept that something was wrong. Something, maybe they didn't know about it, family didn't know about it, friends didn't know, but there was something wrong. And most often it's very hard to detect. Often if people try to mask their pain and their suffering, there's something called the last dance theory or scenario where you'll find incidences where the person, a couple of hours before they do the act, they're extremely happy, exuberant, or more happy than normal, dancing, singing, laughing, joking, and then a couple of hours later, they unalive themselves. It's called the last dance theory. So what I want to say in this video is that, especially due to the suicide rate in our younger generation, I think we as the elders or parents of the younger generation, because suicide was not as common as it is in the younger generation when we were the younger generation. And I think the reason that we find the problem now is that we as parents are building a generation or a community of weak individuals. And when I say weak, is because we shield our youngsters too much. We don't allow them to experience the hardships, to know how to deal with harsh situations. Our parents, when we grew up, I'm talking about now, if those were in the 40s, 50s, whatever, when we grew up, there was no shielding by our parents. If something happened, we had to deal with it. So we're streetwise, we're smart, we got to know how to survive. I don't know if you agree with me. You can say it in your comments with you. Some of you may disagree with me. I think we're building a society of very weak individuals who don't know how to deal with stress, trauma, tragedy, bad decisions. A very simple example someone gave on a TikTok platform, I think, when we talk about our younger generation. If we were going to school back in the day and your mother told you to carry your raincoat or a jacket or a jersey and you didn't, and you forgot and you went to school, it was cold that day, our parents would say, well, let him suffer. But nowadays, as a parent, you'll take the jacket and you'll run to school to give it to your child. Tell me I'm wrong. You see, because our parents believe, teach him a lesson, let him learn. And we had to suffer it out in school in the cold to learn a lesson. Next time when the parent talk, listen. So I don't know. It's a broad topic. I can even talk more about suicide from my personal point of view. But for today, let's talk about the fact that we're building a generation of softies who can't handle pressure, can't handle bad decisions, who can't handle things going wrong, that they're too soft. Let me leave that there. Let me start that conversation. Maybe in the comments, if you're watching on TikTok, on WhatsApp, if you receive it on YouTube, leave your comments. Let me know. Am I right? Do you agree? But it's my opinion. Doesn't mean it's the right. You have to agree. It's my opinion. What are we talking about? That we're building a community, a younger generation that are softies, unable to cope with stress, trauma, tragedy, things going wrong.
Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, dollar what you must.
Dollar what you must. Dollar what you crave. But don't dollar flop. Don't dollar with the masala.